Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Centered Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And I have a very special guest for you today that I think you're going to enjoy. And oops, there we go. Forgot to turn my volume down here. So
Okay.
I have the lovely Cheryl Marlene, who is a published author on the Akashic Record, and I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to let her tell you a little bit about what she does. So, Cheryl, welcome to the channel.
Oh, Marina, thank you so much. It's really, really awesome to be here with you and everyone that's going to be joining us. I really appreciate it. The Akashic Records is something that I love to talk about, so you're going to have to tell me when to shut up.
Yeah, if just keep talking. If I disappear, I'm just getting another coffee. It's okay.
Yeah, well, like I was telling you, I've been doing this for about 25 years. It was one of those things that came into my life, like through the back door, me not paying attention. And all of a sudden there I am. And so I've written books, I do readings, the whole thing, I teach, all of that fun stuff. I think the thing that's, what a lot of people find out when they start like reading and following me in some ways or one way or another is they find that I talk about the records in a very different way than most people. Mainly because I see the things that we typically say about the records, like that it's like a book in a heavenly library, or it has everything past, present, and future. It's not that those things aren't true. It's that they are more like metaphors. And if you just think of them that way, it actually creates a limit to what it really is, right? And part of it is that historically trying to explain how the Akashic Records work has been difficult, right? Like that's why book in the library, it connects it with the idea of the book of life, and that becomes something that's very easy for people to get a hold of. And so I've made it my mission to try to like break those myths and expand our abilities, right? And so, like, for example, when you think of the Akashic Records as like a book in the library, you're thinking of something that's written, right? Like it like in past tense, right? And then that's why a lot of people will historically have said that the records are only for past life information, because if it's written, then that's what should be there. And so that therefore there isn't like, say, future in it. But the way that I deal with this is I am working with this, first of all, as a flow of energy. And that flow of energy's origin is in the soul. And so that means that that's outside of physical reality. It's, or what I call physical reality. So it's beyond like what we think of as like the etheric, the causal, all of that. And you're going into, let's say, divine consciousness and making the connection there. And because it is an energetic flow, it's actually accessible anywhere along the continuum. Right. And if you look at different ways that people do open the records, you can see, or at least I can see, oh, they're about here on the continuum. And so my intention in the way I teach it and do it and all that is to always do it from the potential energy of the soul. So completely outside of physical reality, which when you do that, it like totally flips it into something that is so not a book, right? And it's so not just past lives. It becomes, because now what you're doing is you're dealing with energy that's infinite and eternal. And so there is no such thing as linear time. From that, I mean, they can deal with linear time, but it's out, the origin of it is outside of linear time. And so right. And so it just, it means that you're then what's possible there. So I always say, if you think of that part of yourself that's eternal, as it moves through the time and space of the universe, it creates an energetic record, and that's your Akashic record. So going into your Akashic record is like going into the origin of your soul and turning around and looking from that point of view at all of the activity of your soul, and usually focused on this lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I can see if we're trying to explain something that is more, how do I say, more esoteric, I guess.
Yeah.
It could be difficult. But if you explain it to people in terms that they can understand,
Yes.
that they can kind of visualize, and, oh, okay, so my energy could be compared to a book in the library, and I can go and take out that library book anytime I want.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that they can visualize,
Yes,
and
exactly.
then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just that we've gotten to the point that so many people, instead of realizing that it is just a metaphor for what it is,
Yes,
believe that that's what it is. I have to.
Well, it's, the thing is it's like the work that you do creates the opportunity for me to be able to talk about the records as energy.
Yes.
Right. And that, although 25 years ago, when I first started saying all that, people were like, huh? Now it's a much easier conversation, and people are having experiences, right? Like they're more aware of their intuition. They're more aware of their ability to connect beyond who they are. And that then opens the door, because when you start thinking about the Akashic records, if it's really true that you're going out of this world into the origin of your soul and getting the knowing that's available there, who are you to do that, right? Like, don't you have to be the Dalai Lama or something?
Yeah.
But people are learning that we have within ourselves that kind of spiritual power, if we believe that we have it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it all works together, because you're learning basically to trust yourself that you can do this.
Yes. And to pay attention to what the messages that Spirit is sending to you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment and say hi to some people that are here. Eleanor James, we got Wiki, Arlene is here, and Wiki actually has a question that I started. We'll get to that in a minute. Teresa Katak is here, and who else is here? Okay, well, we've got a few others. They're not saying anything, so they're just, kind of sitting in the back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and before I forget, for those of you that want to reach out to Cheryl and want to do, want to possibly get a reading from her and whatnot, please go down in the details or the description of the video. And I've got not only the upcoming shows, but I also have everyone's information in there. You can click on her webpage. You can go in there. There's all kinds of stuff that you could look into. You can take a look at all the books that she's published, and particularly with this new one, the gemstone. We're going to get into that here in a second, but I just wanted to acknowledge everyone. And also, for those of you that are seeing us sort of in replay, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope that you will find this beneficial. And even if you are watching us in replay, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, not only this channel, but Cheryl's as well. And if you want a tarot reading or whatnot, you can get in touch with me as well, and we'll take it from there. And Gita said, can I ask a question? You can post your question if you like, Gita, and we will do our best to get to it.
Yes.
And is there anything in particular, Cheryl, that you're uncomfortable reading on?
No.
No? Okay.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All right.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, just be the only thing that I ask of you guys is please be respectful. Please be conscious of the fact that if there are new people that are coming in, um, and they want to have a reading or whatnot, be patient. Just be patient. We will do as good a job as we possibly can. And if for some reason we miss you, if I forget to say hello, Teresa Ford, if I forget to say hi to you, it is never anything personal. Never, ever, ever. I just missed it and didn't see it. And same thing with questions. So yeah, we will certainly do our best. And this is something that it's a service that we provide to you and for you. So just be respectful in that energy. So yeah. All righty. Was there. So let's get into your whoops. Here.
To the cards, yes.
Guardians.
I have them too.
Perfect.
So
thank you for sending those. They're beautiful. Okay. Explain how that came about.
Well, I have worked with gemstones for a lot of my career, and one of the things that I started doing with the Akashic records is connecting with gemstone energy in the records, and that pointed me towards working with what I call gemstone guardian energy, and which is sort of like the overall energy, right? You can, in the records, you can open a record, like you can open a piece of amethyst, you can open up all amethyst, and you can open up the guardians of amethyst, right? So I started doing that. So when I was working with this about a year and a half ago, they started giving me messages, and I realized I had a book. So that's what the book is Akashic Records Gemstone Guardians. And so it's 30 messages from 30 gemstone guardians through the Akashic records. And so one of the things that they were doing when I would work with each one is they would give me a message for humanity. And so that's what's on the cards. Like that's copper. So you can see the writing there, that little message there. That's the message from humanity. And so I decided to make a card deck. The one thing about the card deck that people should know is that it's only available on my website. And the reason for that is because I already am moving into creating messages from 30 more gemstone guardians. And I decided before I go to the expense of like getting the card deck on Amazon kind of thing, I get the rest of it done. So, and so there's that.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So go to Cheryl's channel. You can get the book. You can get some of the other Akashic record books. You can get the cards. The jewelry. Let's talk about the jewelry.
So
that is just phenomenal.
So I have a friend, or I have a student who is a jeweler. She makes jewelry. So she and I were talking one day, and I was like, oh, it would be so cool to have some kind of jewelry for all of this. And she came up with, let's see, there's the necklace. But what she did was she designed a charm for each of the gemstone guardians, and they each have a little clasp. And so there's a necklace and there's a bracelet. And it comes in a box where they're all labeled. So you can, you can wear one at a time, you can mix and match, however you want to do it. But so that was just one of those like last minute wonderful things that happened. They're made out of, it's all sterling silver. And it's all completely handmade. It's beautiful. She does beautiful work.
Absolutely. So, and you could decide when you're, getting yourself organized for the day. You can consult the cards and see Okay, what energy should I be focusing on today?
Yes.
Or, you could say, well, what gemstone am I feeling? And
Yes.
whatever you're drawn to, go
Yep.
with that gemstone,
Yep.
right?
That's
Don't say,
that's
oh, yeah,
exactly, and that's like what I did today. I was like,
yeah.
so what? And so I have on opal, quartz, and garnet. And then
Yep.
the bracelet, I forget. It has snowflake obsidian, ruby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a great way to work with the energy, but it's
Yes.
also fun.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure people will ask and they'll say,
Yes.
what's that necklace? Where'd you get that? What
Yes.
about that? Well, you know what? Yeah, this
Yeah.
is, I have one necklace anyway that I had purchased a good number of years ago
Uh-huh.
from a local jeweler who does sort of work with gemstones. And I can't remember what the name of it is now, but I remember she called it, she said, this is the Grace Under Fire
Oh,
stone.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
And yeah, if I'm going into a situation where things could get a little tense and I know that I need to kind of keep myself centered and calm, I will put it on. And
Uh-huh.
it certainly does help
It,
with that,
it does. Yeah.
energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, you guys, it's absolutely, yeah. And Teresa Ford, yes, every stone is labeled when you
Yes.
get it, so that you know what it is, and
Yes.
you know,
And yeah, exactly. So the box has labels in it. Plus, what I do is I send a like a map of the box with all of it labeled as well, so that you can also like look at the picture and go, oh, it's this.
yeah,
And it keeps it all really well organized. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So, and yeah, and the other thing I'm doing is I'm sending a polishing cloth for the silver. So,
Oh, perfect.
so you have everything you need to keep it very, very, very nice and
Yeah.
organized. And yeah.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. I will be getting mine, believe me. It's just a
Oh,
matter of planning.
oh,
But
thank you.
yeah, because I absolutely resonate with that. And it's
Oh,
so,
oh,
yeah,
thank
it's
you.
so
Thank
much. Yeah,
you.
the one that I'm wearing now,
Oh, that's
I
beautiful.
thank you. I actually purchased this about 5 years before, like it's a stone of Lemuria.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
yeah, I was drawn to it. I had to have it. I
Mhm.
bought it. The lady um, that I purchased it from wasn't sure if the energy was, and I said, no, I don't care. That's the one I want. And then it was, yeah, about 5, 6 years later that I found out that, yeah, I started from Lemuria.
Oh,
And no
oh,
wonder I was drawn to it. So yeah,
yeah. Oh, awesome. I love how that
yeah,
comes together.
it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, and you think it's just a happenstance, right? No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Spirit is
Yeah.
guiding you. So
Yeah.
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 And oh, hey, Sue Toffee. Hello, Isabella. D Rose. Hi, D Rose. And Sue Toffee says, "Oh wow, wait here. Why don't I put it up and everybody can read it?" Does your friend have a page? The cards look amazing. Will you
Oh.
be including a Lemurian starseed card too?
Yeah, so there is a link to Lee. Her business is Gemstones and Stardust. And that is, yeah. And so there is a link on the webpage to her website. And I have the Lemurian Starseed crystal on my list. I haven't done the message yet. It's one of the ones that is going to be included in what I'm kind of thinking of as off-world gemstones.
Yeah.
So there's, yeah. And so I work also with the Council of the Gemstone Guardians, and so they actually have some things to say about what they think I ought to be doing. So we're having a discussion right now. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All righty. So now that we know a little more about that, maybe we can maybe tell the folks how to use the deck if they order it.
Yeah, if you have the deck, if you do get a deck, one of the things I do is I send a card with it that has 3 suggestions, and for people who are used to doing oracle decks and stuff like that, you can do it just about any way that you want, but I definitely suggest that you pick a card a day as one of the best, because that's the really good way to really get to know the energy. And because one of the things I think that's important to remember about what's like in the cards and in the book is that it's not the typical kind of like crystal Bible, crystal encyclopedia information. So because really what they were doing is it really turned into, because that's what I expected more of when I started all of this. And it really turned into more of how to help us navigate the change in the world, how to deal with fear, how to deal with your ability to live within your power. And so it's each of those gemstones from their energy giving that information. And so that's why I say just like one card a day, you read it, you kind of get with yourself, because they also provide 4 questions that they think would be good for you to use to help you like process the message. And or like if you do open the records, you can take it to that, you can meditate with them, you can journal with the questions. I even have a journal of all the questions that you can get to go along with the book too. So that I think that's the best way to kind of start with it. The readings I'm doing, which I think we're going to do here in a moment, is I draw 3 cards, and the first card is what was, the second card is what is, and the third card is what will be. So it's just a very simple, spread there, nothing. But it also is really interesting how the energy of the gemstones really picks up on that. And I find, especially with the what was card, is that it's often not like the horrible thing that what was, it's more like what happened to create the power, the foundation that you have. So they're interpreting it in their own way too. So
exactly. And I think one of the things that when you're doing a reading is, or if someone has a question or whatnot, if they want a reading, you ask them to pick 3 numbers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you pick a number between 1 and 30.
Yes.
And then you pick another number between 1 and 30, but not the one you chose.
Right.
And then the third number again between 1 and 30.
Right.
So you could say 357. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then that is going to determine how they come up. Right. I just want everyone to understand sort of how this works, because sometimes you might get the same. Someone might say, well, yeah, I want 357. And somebody else says, I'll take 18, 21 and 29. And the same card might come up. And you think, well, wait, what number card is that? It's not. They're you shuffle the cards.
Yes.
And they are not numbered.
They're not numbered.
For a good reason. So you shuffle the cards and then you go with. So if someone was to say, okay, I want cards number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay. So you shuffle the deck. The first card, this is number 1. The second one, you would go 1, 2. And then that would be the card, and then 1, 2, 3, and that would be the card.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why sometimes the same card will come up.
Yes.
Under a different number.
Yes. Which is always interesting to me that, in a group of people, more than one person needs a certain, energy
Yes.
brought into their awareness. So yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. And then this way it's completely random. Right?
Yes. That's
you don't
right.
even know, right? So
No.
it's totally random. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So hello, Sharon Saib. And yes, Sue Toffee. Yeah, she says, I can't believe I was asking about the Lemurian crystal card, and that is the crystal you have. Yes, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
Exactly.
these things all happen for a reason. It's a joyful thing. It's a joyful thing.
It
So
is.
yes, so if any of you would like to get a reading, and I do have a couple of questions and we'll start with those. But if you do want a reading, just please put in the comments, I'd like a reading, and then your 3 numbers.
Yeah. And they don't
Right?
have to be in order. Like you don't
No.
have to do 1, 2, 3. You can do 3, 20, and 1. So
Yeah.
whatever you think is what is, what was, what is, and what will be.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so Eleonora Jones, if you're still here, if you can just kind of let me know that you're here, and we'll say, she says, I'm moving to Florida to my son and daughter-in-laws that I'm better financially. Are you asking if that's a good idea? I think maybe that's what your question is should you be moving to Florida to my son and daughter-in-law? Could your son and daughter-in-law maybe move to another state instead of you going to Florida? Because just saying. Okay. I got you in here, Teresa.
Oh, so I see Teresa wants 4, 12, and 28. Okay, let's get this going. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And yeah,
5,
Eleanor, if you let me know that you're here, then we'll get to your question. But in the meantime, yeah, let's do
8. All right, so this is for Teresa. Okay, so all right. Okay, so I've gotten the records open. So the first card that you picked, your number 4 is Ruby, and that each of the gemstone gardens also gave me what they called their spirit name. And so the spirit name for Ruby is Genuine Beauty, and they're saying that. So this is what was. So you came into this life to connect with and to express beauty. And to have that be something that's genuine, right? Like that's the nature of who you are. That's your foundation. That's how you connect, especially with that sense of what it is to be genuine or authentic. And the message of Ruby is uncertainty is a gift from the future. So it's also then the way that you are connected, right? Like the energy here connects you across the infinite expression of who you are. And that's what you came to be a part of in this life. So that what is quartz, and quartz's spirit name is clear light. And because you have that foundation of authenticity and of genuine things, then you also have this ability to be a clear light, both for yourself and for others.
Yeah.
So that what will be is fluorite. And fluorite, as you can see there, the message is simply live, because with the energy of ruby and quartz, you have the ability to live as simply as you are. And that's an amazing you are that amazing clarity. Yeah. Wow.
And I pulled a couple oracle cards from the oracle of the 7 energies. And what I got, the first one, what I got was bearing fruit. And it doesn't translate very well in terms of color, but this is full of red. Like this is a beautiful red, like ruby, when it comes in that deep red. So I got the bearing fruit, and then I got the ears wide open. So what you are currently doing, and the energy that you're sort of concentrating on, is something that is going to it's rooted in reality. It's rooted in what you're doing and who you are, and the things that you have to share with others. People are paying attention. Okay. And then the rose kiss, and that this one just very, again, it's got a lot of red, a lot of pink. It's got some of that crystal in here as well, but the rose is, yeah, definitely that beauty, I think. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay. All righty. So when when Cheryl uses her cards, I'm going to try to use the oracle cards.
I think that's awesome. I love
that
this.
way we can kind of do
yeah
back to back. Okay, so for now, guys, we are at 9 questions. We're 31 minutes in. So I think we'll hold off on putting any more in.
Okay.
But
so okay. I saw that Arlene, it looks like she's the next in line.
Almost. Yeah, we've got Teresa Ford and then Arlene Gabo. Yeah.
Okay, so I went ahead and pulled her cards, 2, 4, and 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since you've already pulled those, then let's show those, and then we'll come back to that. Okay.
Okay. So the first card that you pulled, number 2, is Celestite. And Celestite, the spirit name is Celestial Walker. And what I get for you is that you came into this life to be connected to your celestial being. And that has moments where it's worked well, and it's had moments where not worked. And so there's been a lot of frustration for you because of that. So in this moment, then Celestite wants to say to you, because fear is about choice, in any moment you can choose balance, peace, and joy. So when when what you're trying to do doesn't seem to be working, remember that you do have a choice. You may not like the choice, but you still got a choice. So what is Moldavite? And maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but Moldavite, right, is pieces of meteorites that have fallen to the earth. So that means that Moldavite isn't made on the earth in the same way that a lot of gemstones are. So it brings star power energy with it. And because you have this foundation of being a celestial walker, then you also now have the soil to plant your star energy into and have it grow. So that what will be, you picked malachite, which its spirit name is clear streams. And so for you, what that means is that you're what you have going forward is the clarity you need to bring forth your celestial being and the star energy power of that celestial expression of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and they just want to say real quick, the only energy they would add to all of this for you right now is garnet. So.
Okay. That works. You're not going to believe what I the cards that I got and how much they confirm that message. Okay, so the first one that I got was Call of the Muse.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and the second card was Seeing Beyond, and the third card was Close Encounters.
Oh, lovely.
So there you go, Arlene. Yeah, the feelings that you are getting, pay attention to them because they are your way to guidance on kind of how to get through this. Okay, and you're getting to the point that you're ready to see beyond what is in front of you, right? You know it's there. You intuitively know that it's there, and you're just getting ready to take the next step, and maybe even have some, if you're willing, have some close encounters with, some of the past beings um, that you have come here with. I think this is absolutely wonderful and totally gets that message. So, all righty. Next.
I love how this all comes together.
I know. It's like, wait, what's she talking about? Let me pick a card.
And there it's the same. Yep.
Boom. Yeah.
Yep.
And there it absolutely is. Okay. So let me see. We're going to hide that. Teresa. We're on Teresa Ford, right?
We did Teresa.
Did we?
Yeah, Teresa was the first one.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Never mind.
No,
Never
okay.
mind. I don't know why I have it starred twice. Okay, so there was Teresa Ford was done, so we can take that away. Arlene was done, so we can take that away. Okay, here's one I'm sure that we haven't done. Isabel. Thank you. 13, 17, and 21.
All righty. All right. Okay, so Isabel, the first card that you picked, is Opal, and Opal's spirit name is Heartfire, and what's important for you in this with this card for is the whole concept of fire and warmth and heat, and how that can generate energy. Because there's moments where in your life where it feels like things have been really cold, and you have had the ability, because of that internal nature of yourself, to allow your inner warmth to come through and shift the situation. So that what is Ruby. And for you about Ruby is, again, its message is uncertainty is a gift from the future. And so what it's doing is it is using your fire nature to help light your ability to connect with the unknown, so that moving into the future isn't something that's covered with fear. It's actually covered with that sort of like joyful anticipation. And then, what you picked for what will be is Sujilite. And Sujilite, one of the things that's really interesting about Sujilite, when I was working, well, I've worked with Sujilite in a lot of ways, but when I was doing the work in the records with Sujilite, they were explaining to me partly why it is that Sujilite is something that's just sort of like been recently known. because documented, it was discovered in 1944, which relative to a whole lot of gemstones makes this a very young one. But it's because sugilite spent a lot of time in the earth mining its transcendent power. And because of your ability, because of your fire nature, and because of this ability to work with the unknown and the uncertainty of the unknown, it brings you into direct contact and integration with the transcendent nature of all that is. That's what will be.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, again, it's really funny, but yeah, my cards kind of mirror that. And before I do that, I just wanted to say prayers for 2023. Yes, you may ask a question. However, what we ask you to do in this reading is to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 30, and they do not have to go in sequence. They do not need to be sequential. And then, yeah, you'll get the reading that you need.
Yeah.
Okay. So Isabella, yeah, I got shining through. And again, there's a good bit of red in here. And this is like you are, it feels like you are at the point where you are just ready to burst through whatever it is that's been holding you back. You're just going to go poof, and that's it. Okay. What that is going to do is awaken genius, because you're connected. You know that you get feelings and things, and you're just going to become more connected. And again, I got the seeing beyond card, right? That be comfortable in the things that are going to come through to you. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't need to explain why you feel the way you do, or what you're hoping for, whatever. That's, you do you, and you do the best version of you. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Hey, silly. And let me see. All right. I'm going to take that out. And Gita.
Awesome.
16, 7, and 28.
Okay. And then 28. Okay. All right. So, Gita, the first card that you picked for what is Onyx. And Onyx is all about soul unity. And this feels like what you've drawn into yourself in a clear awareness kind of way in the last, I would say, last 3 to 5 years, somewhere in there. And it's because you have done your work. The message of Onyx is unity does not erase the individual. In other words, we can be integrated body, mind, heart, and soul, and be a being that is distinguishable amongst all other beings, right? We don't have to lose ourselves in order to have that integration. And that's what you've brought forward with you from what has been, so that you are prepared. You pick for what is sugilite. So again, we're dealing here for you with this sense of moving into a very powerful awareness within yourself of the connection that you have with transcendency, like with the divine, with eternal source. However that shows up in your life, it's become a part of who you are. That's not changing. That's the way it's going to be, because you chose for what will be selenite. And selenite is a channel of light energetically. And when you are unified through onyx in your soul and connected to the transcendency of all that is, what you get is selenite. You get that beautiful light as a part of who you're, as a part of who you are. Yeah.
Perfect. Alrighty. And hello, Viviani and Celine, who came in. And yeah, just want to reiterate for those of you that are just coming in, the way that we're doing the readings today is we are highlighting Cheryl's deck, and it's the Gemstone Guardians deck. And so how it is meant to be used is you shuffle the cards, and then you pick 3 numbers between 1 and 30. They do not have to be sequential. Just, 3 numbers between 1 and 30. And that will, those numbers, when Cheryl reads the cards, I'm sorry, are going to be, what was in the past, what is in the present, what is in the future. So yes, Teresa, it is very, very interesting. And prayers, no, you're not next in line. But we will, given time, we will absolutely get to you. Okay, so we've done Gita. And okay, I'm going to hi Gita. And Andrea is next.
Awesome, Andrea. 8, 18, and 10. Okay.
Ooh, Viviani would like. Uh,
17, 18. Okay. So Andrea, for you, the first card that you picked for what is Jasper. Jasper's spirit name is Ancient Unity, and the energy of Jasper is all about the balance of being, especially within, like, say, the ancestral legacy. And it feels like at some point in your life, well, actually, it feels like several points in your life, you have pulled forward, both consciously and unconsciously, wisdom from your ancestral legacy. And this would be both like on your biological, it'd be both on your, like, your maternal side and your paternal side. And it comes through, especially through the line of women on your father's side, which is an interesting thing, right? So, and so Jasper then is about the unity that you experience by both the conscious and the unconscious connection to your ancestral legacy. There's a lot there. I mean, I can tell right now there's a lot there that I can't even hardly get into at this point, but that's something that's really important for you. So if you haven't actually consciously done any work on your ancestral lines, it would be now's a good time to do it. Because what is selenite, liquid light. And this comes up for you because part of the message of selenite is all is connected, valued, and unique. That's the message that you need to hear today for you. You are connected, you are valued, and you are unique. And this is an interesting one as a gemstone guardian. I sort of fought against this initially, but they're like, oh, no. Oh, no. Cheryl, put granite in there. But granite for what will be means that you have put together everything you need to have the solid foundation to be all that you are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So I got the rose kiss again. And so I had to look it up. And this is the integration of all your five senses and being in joy, just simply being in joy, not to let the noise of the outside world get to you. Just be at peace. And like Cheryl said, you have everything that you need. Okay. Grand symphony, all the instruments are tuned up, right? You are ready to start that celebration. And I end finally with the royal you.
Oh, wow.
So absolutely everything that Cheryl just said, absolutely. You have what you need. Just go forth. Go forth in beauty and satisfaction and love and yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, Andrea. Those are cards that I wish I had.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. If I was going to pick. Okay. So we did Andrea, and we are now to Flora D. 11, 22,
Okay.
and 27.
All right.
Okay. And we're at 51 minutes and still have quite a lot of questions. So if we don't get to you today, you know what? I'm
18, 19, 21,
I'll apologize, but you can always come back.
25.
You can always come back. And I'm sure that I'll have Cheryl on again.
Aw, thank you.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So the so Flora, oh my grandmother was named Flora. Yeah, every time I see that name, so I'm sure you're as beautiful as she was. So for you, the first card you picked, number one, with what was is quartz. And the thing about quartz here for you is that it creates a foundation that makes it difficult for fear to reside. And that they think is really important because it feels like you must be doing some work or something for yourself, and there's fear coming up. If you have a piece of quartz, hold on to that quartz and let the quartz absorb the fear. And that will help let go of what was. Wow, Moldavite seems to be the card for everybody today.
Yeah.
So here you picked Moldavite and for what is. And its message is being different, move beyond the limits of fear onto your path for tomorrow. So part of what Moldavite's energy does is remind us that we are who we are, and that means that we often feel we are different from everybody else. And so celebrate that and move from the power of that awareness, and that helps you move beyond the fear. So that what will be is Morganite, and her spirit name is Angelic Peace. And so what you get to with all of this is that sense of angelic peace that comes when fear no longer pushes at you.
Exactly. All right. Flora, you are surrounded by love. You are surrounded by all kinds of loving energies that are supporting you as you go forward. I got earth magic as well. So yeah, spend some time outdoors, spend some time in nature, put your feet on the ground and feel the the earth beneath your feet, because you are integrating body and soul. And yeah, absolutely, you are moving forward in the right direction, and just know that you are protected as you do that. Absolutely. And hello, Sharon. And we have, yeah, Dana Hutcherson is here. Hello and welcome. And yeah, Dana, unfortunately, we're not taking any more questions because we've been on for almost 54 minutes. 54 minutes. And hi, Sally. Okay, so we're going to hide that. And we're going to, all right, prayers would like 11, 14, and 23.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Rossi Stan wants to know what deck I am using. And this is the Oracle of 7 Energies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
So
a little
prayers. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So prayers, you the first card you drew for what is Moldavite. And what they're saying to me for you about Moldavite is that there has been a lot of times in your life where you didn't feel like you belonged on Earth. And there's a way in which that's true, because if you will think of yourself sort of like a meteorite that was headed someplace else and got diverted, that's what, like the beginning part of your life on Earth was very much about. But you've also come to a place where you have kind of gotten over that, or come to peace with the fact that you're here right now. I mean, I see this a lot in people. It's almost like you're traveling, like say you're going from New York to LA and you get diverted to Atlanta. And a lot of people feel like, so you're in transit, right? But you have learned to deal with that sort of sense of being in transit, because what is Ruby. And part of this for you is becoming okay with what is uncertain, that there's much more balance for you, and it's not something that you blame yourself for any longer, so that you're moving into what will be, which is labradorite. Labradorite is an anchor of light, and that's what you have done. That's what you will continue to do, is anchor your light within you and live from the power of that light.
Exactly. So what I am getting is that, yeah, you are currently working on healing the heart. There's something that's going on that is causing you some concern and some heartache. The idea is to, in all cases, when it comes to healing the heart, is to forgive. Just live in forgiveness, and you'll see it'll lessen things. And when you start to do that, yeah, the grand symphony, that's when things all come together and everything meshes, and all the cacophony of different noises, it's happening all of a sudden gets together and creates beautiful melody. And time machine. um, you're probably wishing that, yeah, you could go back in time and undo something that, maybe even unsay something that you have said. So that's where the forgiveness comes in. Forgive yourself. Um, if you do feel that you have said something that you shouldn't, and I'm reading this intuitively, and kind of the message that I'm getting is apologize. Apologize sincerely. And then when you do that, let it go. Same thing with when the other person apologizes to you. accept it, and let it go. Don't hang on to it,
Mhm.
because you'll just keep repeating it, and it's the same cycle over and over and over again. So yeah, just let it go and breathe. Let it go and breathe. All righty. Let me get that. And D Rose. D Rose would like 2, 6, and 7.
All right. All right. So D. So the first card that you picked for what was is Celestite. And for you, they want to say that this comes as confirmation that you have learned to let go of the major obstacles of fear that you've had in your life, and you are like turning a corner. You've even gone beyond the crossroads already, and you're moving down the direction that you need to be going in. And the direction for what is tourmaline, which tourmaline, the energy of tourmaline is all about how it is the flow of how it supports the flow of soul energy. So that this for you in this moment is about you bringing forward the deepest parts of yourself into your life on like an everyday basis, right? Like the fear is going away, so there's room for this light of who you are at a soul level to come forward, so that what you move into is the energy of Malachite. And the message of Malachite is personal power within emerges from the pressure to negate self, meaning when fear shows up, it scares the bejesus out of us and helps us figure out who we are. So you have that power within you, and it's ignited, and off you go.
Exactly. And I get opening to discovery, quieting the mind, and bearing fruit. So yes, like Cheryl said, just there's new things to look at. Just be open, and don't concentrate too much on overthinking.
Yes.
And yeah, you'll be bearing fruit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Before I forget, and for those of you that are still here, if you were trying to ask a question and you didn't get in, I'm going to give you the heads up. At 6:30, at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I will be back. Yes. And I'm going to have medium Kim Copeland with me. So medium Kim is going to be on the channel at 6. So if you have questions, that you maybe wanted to ask and you don't get in here, come on back at 6 and you can ask medium Kim. So that you don't feel left out. Okay. And we're an hour and 3 minutes, but I only, there's only, I think, three or four left. So let's do that. Okay.
All right.
Pauline Zedner. Okay. Yeah. Pauline, are you here?
Okay, so Pauline, the first card that you picked for what was is quartz, and they're saying that in the earlier parts of your life, you had an issue with trying to find clarity for yourself because of the confusion around you, especially in like, it feels like the adults that were around you. And so it made that sense of clarity almost feel like impossible to get to. But in what is the energy of amethyst, and amethyst spirit name is peace and balance. And what they feel like you have worked hard to do is to find that balance within yourself, right? Like that's how the Akashic records actually define healing, is that healing is balance. And so you have taken that lack of clarity, but the energy of quartz, to create the ability to find balance for yourself in your life, so that as you move forward, you have what will be as moldavite. So again, what you're doing is you're bringing that in, that energy of the star nature of who you are, and letting that be a part of your everyday life, so that so that through that integration, you get that sense of clarity that you've always been looking for.
Yeah. I think you have always sort of had a knowing. You don't know how you know things, you just know that you do. And yeah, it does go back to your childhood, and it does go when you would tell people things and they would accuse you of telling tall tales. And they would say, oh, come on, that there goes your imagination, and so on. And you just didn't have the voice or the language to explain to them what you were feeling, what you were seeing, what you were hearing. As you have worked on this, yeah, you get to the point where body and soul are connecting, where you are more at ease with expressing what it is that you feel, see, hear, and so on. And yeah, you're coming into your own, the royal you. You're absolutely coming into your own, and you're not allowing yourself to be defined by someone else. You are defining who you are. So I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Okay, and so let's that. And okay, Viviani would like
Oh,
a
right.
reading.
All
1,
right.
9, and 8.
There we go. All right. So, so the first card that you picked was Celestite. And this for you is about remembering to recognize your celestial nature, your angelic nature, that part of you that often feels at odds with the world, because it's not all of the world, so to speak. But that's what's changing, because what is the energy of agate, and agate's spirit name is rainbow strength. And agate, like if you like look at the pictures there of agate, right? Agate has all these different forms that are all agate, right? Different colors, different layerings of the colors. It's unique, and it finds its strength in that multiplicity, that that entirety of it. And that's the same for you. You are, you're essentially the strength of the rainbow. And that's because that's what happens when you remember your celestial nature. What you move into with this then is garnet energy, and the spirit name is soul witness. And the message is move from survive to thrive. Because when you are fully who you are, you don't just survive, you thrive. No matter the circumstances, however hard it might be, you're able to find that sense within you of connecting and thriving within this amazing universe that we live in.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I started off again with the time machine. So yeah, this isn't your first rodeo. You've done this a few times and you go back quite a ways. And then I got roots of abundance. So yeah, like what Cheryl said. And then I move into great and full. So yeah, you do not lack for anything. What you have, the foundation that you have built is built solidly, and it's built from a place of gratitude and fullness and abundance. So yeah, the more that you are grateful, the more abundance is coming to you. But yeah, these are excellent. Yeah. Yes, she does, Teresa. She has skills deep and wide. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Viviani. Absolutely. Okay, we are. And Ivana, if you're with us, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, she's in Sedona right now. So, otherwise she probably would be here with us, but she's in Sedona with Linda G and who else is over there? Linda G, Mel Dorr, Susan Lynn. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting names. Allie is there right now from Heart and Soul Connected. So cool. There's a whole bunch of them, and they are having a really good time.
That's awesome. All right, so Ivana,
Jen Lynn, yes.
The first card for you for what was it this time is Ruby, genuine beauty. But there is within the energy of Ruby this ability to deal with uncertainty. And that's why this is coming up for you now, to remind you that uncertainty is always going to be a part of your life, as it has been in the past, and won't stop. But it will be very much something that will bring you the depth of what you're looking for. So that what is hematite, and you can see there, hematite's message is resist or receive, your choice. Right? Which is sort of what life boils down to.
Exactly.
Often, right? Either you can resist it or you can take it in. And your ability to deal with uncertainty is making it easier and easier for you to receive. And part of the reason why hematite says this is because hematite is trying to also remind us that life is actually not all about give. It's because if you don't receive, you can't give. And although they think you know that, but it's again a reminder. So that what will be is heart fire, opal. And that's all of this comes together to generate that incredible fire within you of joy and both joy and peace. That is who you are and who you will always be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I get, again, shining through. You're just on the precipice of knowledge, experience, everything. It's just boom, ready to jump. Like think of that like the Fool in the Tarot deck, where I'm gonna take that leap of faith and know that I'm gonna be caught and everything's going to be great. And because right now you're kind of feeling uncharted waters, and you're kind of what I'm getting intuitively is that, you're judging yourself right now, and you're saying, oh my gosh, with all these people and all these talents, like, what am I doing here? You belong there, because you are just as talented as they are. You're approaching uncertain water, but things are exposed and revealed, and they will be exposed and revealed to you, so that you can understand that, yes, you are worthy of what you have. Your talents are there for a reason, and you are meant to share them. Don't ever think that you're less than anybody else. So yeah, absolutely, you're just on your way. On your way. Okay, and our last question here is from Still E. If you're still here, just let us know. Yeah, Allie's with them. And yeah, Freebird Spirit, Susan Lynn, Celtic Tarot Sheila.
Okay, so I did the cards for Seal, and so the first card for what is obsidian, and obsidian is part of. We talked about this a little earlier, but for you, this is really a part of the message. Is that that obsidian is about pressure, but it's about pressure of opposites. If you think about how obsidian comes from the lava of volcanoes, it's fire that essentially, in a sense, turns into ice, right? It or turns into glass, right? And so for you, this is a very important thing to remember, because there's a way in which in your life there's these different characteristics of who you are that seem like complete opposites to each other, kind of like fire and ice. And through the pressure of life, one learns how to turn this into the beauty, the crystalline nature of glass. And that brings you forward into what is, which is citron. And citron is soul light, but for you, this energy is coming up for you so that you can feel your light from within. That's part of the message of citron. And it is important to know that you have a source for that inner contrast, the contrast between the fire and the light, and it comes or the fire and the ice, and it comes through as your soul light. So that you have this ability to light your path for yourself. So that what will be is diamond, which diamond is the pinnacle of resistance. That's the spirit name. And, we know that diamond is the hardest material that there is, right? And when, that's what comes from that refinement of pressure over time. And that you're, in a sense, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to go to that pinnacle and become, have the ability to be resilient within whatever contrast life might bring up for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I kind of focused in a little more on your daughter. And yes, she will ultimately find a job. What I got was ears wide open and bearing fruit. So yeah, she's got to keep her ears wide open and listen as things are going to come in. She might hear of a possible position just by sort of overhearing a conversation. And this this period of time is healing the heart. Her experience at the last job was not a pleasant one. That's why it has taken a little bit of time, and that's why it's going to take just a little longer before she finds what she's looking for, because she needs to deal with that hurt. She's got to let go of how she was treated and the injustices that she felt were done to her. Um, yeah, once she lets go of that, and that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It just means that you release that energy. You say, yeah, okay, it happened, I'm moving on. That was then, this is now, and I'm in a better place, and so on. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that, folks, that is it for our questions. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for being
Oh,
here, doing this, for introducing everyone to your deck. This is wonderful.
well, I really appreciate it, Marina. Thank you so much.
You're
This has
more
been fun. A great group of people. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, I'm so glad, and I hope that you'll come back and we'll do this
Love to do
again.
that. I would love to do that. So I hope everybody has, we're on Friday, aren't we? So I hope everybody has a great weekend. And
Yeah, and up here in Canada, it's a long weekend.
oh, right.
So
Oh,
that's right.
cool. Wow.
Long weekend.
There we go.
They always call it the May 24th long. It doesn't matter if it falls on May 24th. It's always been known as the May 24th long.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for having me,
you.
Marina. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, get in touch with me if you are looking to book a personal reading. Get in touch with Cheryl if you're looking for an Akashic reading. If you think this is something interesting that you might want to take some classes on, you might want to buy her cards or some of the jewelry, go over to her webpage. It's all there. So in the meantime, thank you for being here. And Cheryl, we'll definitely have you back.
I'd love that. Thank you, Marina.
All right.
And everybody have a great weekend. Talk to you all later. Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.